We'll call this to order. And the first line of business is the election of a new chair and vice chair.
Well, Dave, I'll campaign for it. I think you did a good job on the new election.
Okay. Moved and second for me to remain as the chair. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's good. It's 2 meetings, we can handle that. Vice chair, Will was the vice chair last year, and since he's not here, I would move that we nominate Will Cable.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Teach him to listen.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, you got railroaded. Any correspondence?
None.
Before we get into the agenda, is there anything, or are you going to talk about maybe any legislative things on the horizon as you do your presentations tonight?
No. There's about 150 legislative items right now that pertain to school districts. And it is so early in the session right now that nobody knows anything right now. Bill and I did get a email this morning saying that Senate Bill 1067 may have a pretty short life. Apparently the governor mentioned it in her last conversation, and it did vote wrong. So that's the only thing that I've seen movement on legislatively at this time. Everybody's just jockeying for a position.
This has all the makings of an interesting session coming up. Moving on, consent items. Item 1.1, approve the agenda. Any changes?
I make a motion to approve the agenda, sir.
Second. Those in favor of approving the agenda as written? Any opposed? Excellent. Item 1.2, approval of minutes from May 21.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second. Is there a second?
Right.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Rock and roll. Item 2, information items. 2.1, overview of the 2019-20 local service plan. Okay.
All right. Well, first off, I'd like to point out on the front cover that Taylor did a great job picking the picture for the front of the local service plan, and that was pretty good. And she changed the color, and now lavender this year. This is a lavender year, so important things to notice. This year's local service plan is very similar to last year's. A couple of minor things. If you look at the board of directors in the front here, you'll notice that Debbie Goss is now an accounting assistant. That would be a different change from last year. She has gone half-time, and she's now helping out Sarah with the accounting, and then she's also continuing with her special education assistants. And we've left her as the office manager also. So we got to have some stability around there. So then budget committee members will pay Corey Price. They're both on until 2020. Ross is on until 2021. Becky till 2020. David till 2021 or life, whichever is longer. Scott 2020. Bill Black 2021 and Sam Jones 2020. So we don't have anybody coming off this year. So in case you were excited about that or something. All right. So on page 4 is my statement. I don't know, did everybody get the opportunity to read through this? I don't want to read to you. Is anybody that? No? Okay. So I'll just touch on the highlights. One of the things we did this year was we created a CERT team, or SRT, school response team. This has kind of came about last year, at the end of the year, where North Lake had the incident with the student that was killed. And as an ESD, I really felt I had nothing I could offer David. I called him, said, what can I do? And he said, I got it, he's got it under control. But I really felt like we could do nothing for them. And so the school response team is there's many of them around the state. And basically what it does is it's a group of individuals, and we got 18 of them. And they're trained for 3 days on how to assist a school in the event of death of a staff member or a student. And so if those things happen, we will deploy based upon the size of the school district. Obviously, we would send all 18 kids out to a single school. But we will deploy staff out there under the direction of the school principal or the superintendent, and assist them with just student, helping them get through things as the day goes on the first day back. Typically, we have some materials where kids can write cards, have a banner up so kids can write saying, something of that nature, and just allow them an opportunity in some place where if they need to cry, they can come into the library and have a place to cry, or talk to their friends about whoever the individual was. So we went through 3 days of training with that, and we're hoping that we never have to deploy. It's kind of one of those things you train and you don't ever want to use it, but we've got that in place now. I'm really excited because we've had, as I said, 18 individuals, so we really kind of have 2 different teams. We've got a number of folks at the North Lake area that they can deploy just by themselves if we needed to. If we needed to be there like immediately, and we'd still deploy a few more people from the Lakeview area that take a couple hours to get there. But we've got people right there local, so that's really a positive thing. We've got people on both ends. Our speech and language services this year, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. This year we have had a terrible time trying to find speech and language pathologists. In fact, I could not find one to hire. And so both of our speech and language pathologists are both what we call travelers. One of them, we were lucky enough that she was a traveler from last year. We were able to get her to come back again. So there was a little bit of continuity there, and that was very positive. The other one, she is doing it via video, and that's working. It's not what I would consider a real positive way of doing it. She's housed in Houston, Texas. And the only thing the kids see is just the video, the screen on the computer, and that's how she interacts with the kids. So we hired an individual to be her assistant, to basically be the body. She's the head, and we need the body to be able to go get kids and bring them to the computer, make sure the kids behave themselves and just turn her off or something, And so that's been working out fairly well. For this next year, right now, we just, as of today, got the signed contract that we have a speech and language pathologist. She lives actually here in Paisley. And so she's going to be taking over the position that currently our video person does. And she's going to be doing some video and some face-to-face time. She'll do testing and stuff like that face-to-face. That will be done over video. She'll do some of it via video. And that was one of the reasons that this was attractive to her whether we were allowed to do that, because from what I understand, I don't have all the details, but her boyfriend, I think, is a contractor, and he's got jobs around the state that he goes and does, and this way she could travel with him and still continue to do her job, but yet come back and see the kids and stuff. So hopefully that's going to work well. Those were not China, they're plastic. And then our assistant that we have right now, she is going to school and she will be getting her SLP assistant license come September, October, hopefully September, but probably October. She'll get that license. And so we'll have a situation just like we do in North Lake, where we'll have an SLP assistant being able to see the work of the kids, and then they'll be overseen by one of the SLPs. Right now, we don't have a second SLP to take that position, and so that's my sole purpose in the next 6 months is to find us an SLP. So hopefully we can, otherwise we'll have to end up with another traveler to come to us. I'm not going to do the video person in Houston again, so nothing against the individual. It was just not, I don't think it's what's best for our kids. So, but what that'll do is that will give us 2 SLPs and 2 SLPAs. And so I think we'll have a better, be able to serve the children better that way. Last year we had 0.4 of an SLP that we hired from the hospital. This year they cut us back to 0.2, and so that put kind of a cramp in things, and they've already informed us that next year they will not be able to provide us with any their services. They've got enough clientele that they need their person full time. So that's why we're going with 2 FTE of SLPs and 2 FTE of SLPAs. We're continuing with all of our staff that we currently have. Our mentoring is going to be continuing with all of our new teachers, and then also any of our new special ed teachers. We have Sammy doing mentoring with them. Our threat assessment coordinator, they're going to continue his position for next year, so that's good. And then, I don't know if all of you have met, but Taylor is our new administrative assistant. She's 6 months, 8 months? 6 months? Okay, 6 months. So she kind of took over half of Debbie, and then we had a part-time administrative assistant in the office already. So that person quit because they were getting their degree in school, so they quit. So we hired Taylor on full-time to take half of Debbie's position and half of the other position. So, well, to Taylor, we haven't had her. Let's see, anything else that's highlighted? One of the things that we're looking at for this next year, for the last umpteen years, we had $1 million ceiling that we were never able to go out and spend more than that. Thanks to a lot of lobbying, I think Bob Nash was one of them that helped with that lobbying. That law got changed, and now the ESDs are funded on a sliding scale, just like school districts are. But school districts don't get more money, ESD gets more money. And so that's been a new change for the ESD, and this last year, we've kind of done some things where we purchased Chromebooks for all the different districts, that kind of thing. And so we're looking at if this new budget comes through that the governor is talking about, that could be a big boost to our budget. And so we're going to be looking at talking with the superintendents and trying to provide more services. I want to try and avoid buying trinkets, computers and screens and those kinds of things. I want to provide more services. What can we do to help out the districts that way? One of those services that we're looking at is a nurse that would be able to be hired on and help out every district in the county. So teachers have questions about some child that has a rash, and they don't know what it is, they take a picture, send it to the nurse. If school districts need training with, you have a child with diabetes, you need training on how to provide the insulin or something of that nature, the nurse would be able to go up and train those things. They'd be able to help out teachers, if some help teachers given a sex ed class and they feel uncomfortable talking about certain things, and that they'd be able to ask that person to come down and help out with that conversation in class. So that's kind of the idea we're looking at, is what other services can we provide to help, help make things better for districts. So. We don't know. Don't know. At this point, not a clue. Not a clue. I mean, it's, all we've got right now is the governor's budget. And everybody that's ever done anything with budgeting in schools, they know that the governor's budget's not what the paper it's written on. So it'll be interesting. Ways and Means Committee, they're supposed to come out with their initial budget, I think, here fairly soon.
We can see that this week.
I think this week, yeah.
Possibly.
So that'll give us a better idea on where they're at as far as their mentality. Are they going to lowball it? Are they going to come in at the same point and say, yeah, we support you, this is what we want to do? For the governor, I don't know. We'll see. But
the people that have been around a while feel like this is probably the best school budget that the governor has presented in years and years and years. And the fact that you've got a Democratic governor and both houses are well in control. The Democrats, they don't feel like there's any reason why something along that line won't come to pass. But they've got to find a way to pay for it.
yeah.
I would like to comment on your summary. Since I arrived at North Lake, the speech and language pathology position has been a nightmare. And even though you had a contract with somebody out of Texas this year, and this solved the problem, we didn't have anybody. So my compliments that you were able to meet our needs by doing that. We might have had some entanglements, but it's been like this forever.
Yeah.
The state organization that supervises speech, language pathology, licensure, even EAs being qualified, they are immovable. If you do not meet the criteria, they will not let you hire them for that. And we've tried to be creative, and we've asked for waivers and haven't gotten them. So this is something that continues to be an absolute pain in the neck. So even though you feel like it may not have worked to solve the problem, you got to sooner the year.
Yeah.
The other comment about the school response team, our student died the day after school was out, and we had no control over anything. We couldn't even talk to kids. Myself and two other staff members had been trained on the crisis response team previously. It wasn't because we didn't want help. We just, with school out, it's kind of like, what are we doing? But the training that you put together this past fall is needed, and unfortunately, we will use it. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts on those two things. So.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, so we'll just kind of run through this. Again, the purpose of the local service plan. This is brought to you folks so you can give us ideas and thoughts, and make sure the ESD is going in the right direction and providing services the district wants. We're continuing with our special needs services. That's a given. We're doing really well there. Right now we are training Samantha, or Sammy. We are training her to be an autism specialist. Right now we are paying regional services for that assistance. Regional services is fine, but typically it's more of a consultant type of thing. They'll come out, tell the teachers what they need to be doing, and they leave. We're going to try and get Sammy trained up, and then that way she'll be in county and she'll be able to go out to places and actually work with teachers and work with kids and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know how detailed we want to get into this. What do you think?
I think anything changed.
Okay. Is it, you've all been on here before, so we don't need, okay. So other than that, you know, I'm not thinking of anything else that's going to be different. I tried to talk to Dale about hiring a massage therapist to be in the ESD, but he turned me down.
I did not.
You got that look. One update, just to give those folks out, Adele and Plush. I spoke with Hunter Communications today about some news for you too, about our E-rate and the fiber optics going out to Adele and Plush. Apparently they are having some issues with the, well, step back. When Hunter bid the job to run the fiber out there, they talked to Surprise Valley and they said, oh yeah, no problem, you can just hang that right on our poles, no big deal, we're good to go. So they bid the job that way. Well, the Surprise Valley has now come back and said, oh, no, wait a minute. Our poles are too old. Their poles, I guess, going out to Adele, were planted in 1971. I didn't know posts could last that long. So I don't know what they're putting in there. So now they're saying, no, you can't do that. So Hunter is doing a evaluation of the poles, of the infrastructure, on what's going out there, and he's going to be meeting with somebody from Surprise Valley. He said he's going to, if he has to drive out down to Alturas, he will meet with them this week and talk with them about saying, look, let us hang stuff out there. If there's poles that need to be replaced, you know, if they're terrible, we'll do it at that moment. Otherwise, let's get the thing done, and then we'll backfill the poles, and we'll come back and replace the ones that need to be replaced. But we've got a timeline. We've got to get this thing done by June 30th. So that's kind of what he's going to be presenting around, and hopefully he's going to also offer some, I don't know, it's not, I guess it's not monetary, but some incentive of allowing them to have some access to the fiber, so that the excess fiber that's going to be going out there, so they would be able to do some type of business. I don't know. The Surprise Valley, do they do electricity, or what do they do? Do they just phone? Just electric? Okay, so maybe they'll be on the phone business. I don't know. But he's going to offer up some of that too. So hopefully I'll have more information by the end of the week. I'm not going to let their hunters, they're bad about communicating. So.
Hunter Communications, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I think the guy who originated it said, hey, let's have a fun one here. Let's all do this. So, yeah, so that is about it. We've got 2 grants right now, and that we've been working on. One's a kindergarten, ready for kindergarten grant, and then the other is, what's the other? Oh, the priorities grant, yes. It has to do with bringing reading and books and that kind of stuff out to the different priority areas, which is North Lake and the town of Lakeview. So the funds can't be spent on anybody else, but like Union, they don't get any of the funds. So, and our youth mentor program is still going strong. We're doing the hiring this week. Looking at that. So if there's any questions on the budget part on the back couple of pages, those are beautiful photographs done by Sarah, hand drawn and colored at home.
And the colors match there.
Good. I was thinking about that as I was sitting there. I thought, oh, I
I will.
good. Thank you.
In here, I will.
I'll open it up for questions.
Jack, on page 7, we've got all the districts' February board meetings. I want to establish approved those February meetings.
Yes, yeah. Sarah has, Taylor has already contacted your office and requested to be put on the agenda. So,
So you did the circuit that day, and North Lake first, and then
do the North Lake, from down to CU.
travel notice, okay.
Yeah. The first year I did that, when I came to you guys, you guys had pizza. The second year, I didn't eat, and I got to you, just mention, I'm not going to do it 20, but I just want to bring it up.
Just for the record, we never
Just-
feed you anyway.
Just, you didn't feed me either way, so, but you were nice. The board was nice.
There's coffee reward.
No, I didn't, you're not part of that circuit, guys. Well, actually, yeah, you are, you're on Thursday. It's on Wednesday. That's my circuit week. It's all the boards.
Any other discussion on the service plan? About item 2.3 ESD program report.
Okay, so if you look at that, that's our program for children with special needs. So just so you can see how many kids are in each district. Let's see what we do. Speech and language services, we have school psychologists. Just give you some data so you can see what it is we do throughout the year, how many kids we're seeing. That stuff. Questions on any of that? We'll break it down.
Jack, what does ESD mean? Number of students served by District 58/6 ESD.
Where do I?
Page 2, speech and language.
Oh, ASD, autism spectrum disorder. Yeah.
Let me share with you that Amy Fortune is awesome. She's at development. She does a great job.
She's a 1 in a million kind of a person that she is able to, 5 different districts, and she connects with all the teachers.
Elementary, secondary, she's
Yeah.
spot on. She does a good job.
I mean,
Good hire.
I wish I was that way.
Don't push it.
This is last year's data. For the full year. And it just gets really a lot, yeah. It's not very clear. Trying to push it.
Would you want me, because I can print the previous years.
This is last year's.
The previous years.
And if you didn't want like all the comments and just the numbers.
Just the numbers for me.
You can know for next year. Or right here next year.
Yeah, that was what I did.
Back to you, Dave.
You know, the comment that was made about the autism spectrum, I forget the percentage, the data says that the average school will have maybe 5% of the kids, maybe a little bit higher on the autism spectrum, and we actually get into factual numbers, all of our districts, I believe, exceed that at the current time. And we don't know why. But I think it's more of a national trend that more kids are being diagnosed with autism. So whatever that whole study was, it said a certain percent to be expected. We exceed that. Any other comments on the program's summary? Item 2.4, set May budget meeting date. We have May 21st or 28th. When did we have our last meeting last year? Does anybody remember? 21st?
Wasn't that the one meeting that you guys approved?
Is May 21st election day? I think it is. Is that pretty problem? Pardon me?
I think you might be right.
Tuesday the 21st, I have down as a long election. Does that create conflict if we have a ESD budget meeting on election night for everybody?
I'd like to be at home watching the results. Be a terrific part.
We're going out on a bond, so we're kind of interested in the outcome of that.
We'll keep it short.
Short meeting.
Yeah.
So May 28th gets kind of a little bit later, you're supposed to get the school stuff, so
Yeah.
can I suggest the 21st? Is that satisfactory to everybody? Okay. So May 21st is our budget meeting date. And item 3, action items, approve the 2019-20 TIF rate. So do you want to explain that?
Sure. The TIF rate is just, so what I explained is it's the cost of doing business. That rate has remained unchanged for several years now. And it continues unchanged as presented. I believe everyone here has been through a full explanation of what it is, but if anyone has questions, feel free to.
Put into a motion.
Motion.
Second.
It is at that 6.94%. Any questions on this? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything else from the good order that's not on the agenda? Motion to adjourn?